Curious if you found yourself to be in the place where the long hours, the stressful deadlines, the breathtaking goals are turning your passion for your small business into resentment. You could maybe be successful, have achieved a certain level of success, but not be happy. You could possibly be feeling like you're stuck in a rut, like you're becoming disconnected from why you started this success journey anyways, the happiness that you don't have, and how you feel about what it is that you're doing. If you've ever had one of those moments, then you're going to listen today because I'm going to give you a book review of Becoming Flawesome by Christina Mondolakiani. And I'm going to share with you in this review a little bit of how you can get the most from this book, my thoughts on it, some of the key points, 3 key points that really I'm sitting with and I'm digesting as a student of success, as a student of small business, but also as a mentor and a guide who help other small businesses on their journey. Well, howdy everyone. My name is Leslie Hasser with Your Biz Rules. What we do is work with business owners to get their cash flowing, their profits predictable, so that they can grow and scale without burnout. And the success journey and how we handle success, but also how we realize happiness is an important part of that journey. And I tell people all the time, I was like, well, we work in the technical, the sales techniques, the marketing techniques, the profit and loss statements of your business. This equally important is how you, the business owner, are doing, how you are handling all of the demands of being a business owner. And are you really doing something that creates happiness, that ultimately is your end goal, that's helping you reach those goals? And so we talk a lot about the success journey, happiness, fulfillment, really being able to have a good quality of life as a business owner, just as much as we do about the growth and the profits and the hiring team component. So I really liked this book from that perspective. And I think we're calling this review, Becoming Flawesome While Your Happiness and Success Journey Needs Rescued. And that is probably one of the key concepts that I want to give to you today, is maybe a different way of looking at your success and happiness journey. But first off, let's talk about the book a little bit more. Flawesome. What the heck does that word mean? Yes, it's totally made up. It's something that our team has picked up on and used to define this perfectly imperfect state of being, in that you begin to see beauty in the imperfection. You also are willing to drop the goal of perfection. We talk about all day long, focus on the progress, not the perfection, and that we're just trying to make progress. But progress that is consistently done day in and day out, that's what leads to transformation. And so Flawesome is this adaptation of allowing yourself to be happy while you're on a journey to success. And that is that first key point that I want to bring up from the book. And it's something that Christina Mondolakiani hits from the get-go, is this relationship between happiness and success. And I have been on this personal journey. I've witnessed it for myself. So I understand it, but I hadn't heard what I'm about to share with you and put in this way that Christina does. So this concept that we are taught that happiness is an outcome of success, meaning that you must be successful first, then you may be happy. I've shared it with everyone. If you read our newsletters or on LinkedIn or part of our email community, I've shared with you where I found that success did not create happiness for me in our first business. And I consciously made a choice to be happy first and successful second. And that is the concept that Christina wants you to walk away with, is that by choosing happiness first, success becomes the natural outcome of being happy. And in that process, you typically are happier, but also more successful, quicker, and easier than you ever thought it could be. And I have found this to be true as well, because when we're focusing on success for success sake, we tend to make it very hard. And if you think about happiness being a reward for success, then you start to qualify your progress. You start to really think about whether or not it's good enough to earn your reward. And we typically come from a society that says we're not enough, right? That we're not valuable enough. We didn't do it the right way. We didn't earn it the hard work way. And therefore it's not success, or your happiness is not yours. I think that keeps so many business owners spinning their wheels, doing things that are out of alignment with what they believe in, who they are, their value systems, and what it is they say that they want. I can't tell you how many conversations we have with people that don't want $1 million business. We're okay with it. We're like, shoot, it's up to you. I mean, that's the nature of business, is you can have whatever you say you want, but you also have to define what it is that you want so that you can build a business to help you achieve it. So sacrificing happiness as a prerequisite for success is where we get trapped. So that's kind of Christina jumps out of the gate and gives you that kind of information. The second one that I loved, the second big point that I love that she brought up, and I love that she brought up because it's real, is you'll find that throughout the book, she talks about the upside and the downside. She talks about when we use certain techniques from a healthy, positive perspective, and when we can use those same techniques in a negative perspective, if we're using shame, blame, and guilt as a way to motivate either ourselves or others when it comes to this search for happiness and search for success. And so the concept that I love that she shared was this, a couple of things. One, it was masks and the masks that we wear. Now, if you've ever walked into a board meeting and you've got to present and negotiate a deal, you know that you have a mask that you put on. It's probably not the same mask that you would adopt with your 6-year-old child that just skinned their knee, right? We tailor our approach, our language, our body language to the situation at hand. And that's normal, totally get it. But there's also this question of identities and roles. For instance, in the book, Christina will share that she talks about a business trip that she went on, and that when she's in business and being the owner of a company, that she's pretty present in doing that. And so she finds that she's not always the most communicative with her family while she's on a business trip. And when she comes home on that return trip, no matter how successful the business trip was, that sometimes she feels really guilty about that she questions whether or not she's being a good mother, wife, family member, even if she feels like she was a good business owner. That duality, that conflict between the identities and the roles that we have as business owners is real. It is real. And reconciling them, bringing them into alignment is so key for your happiness and your success. If the two halves of your life are fighting like cats and dogs, you're never getting anywhere. You will be putting out fires all the time. But by bringing them into alignment, by bringing cohesion, by allowing yourself to be present in the role that you need to be present in, when you need to be present in that role, is a gift in and of itself. It brings wholeness, it brings acceptance, it makes everyone feel like they're getting the attention that they need, because when you're with them, you're giving them all of your attention. If it's your team, if it's your spouse, if it's your children, if it's your partner, whomever will really value your ability to be present with them. And there's so many challenges to that. We talk a lot about presence. And even I think a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that I don't think it's so much time management in as it that is energy and presence management that we need to be working on as entrepreneurs and what the benefits are. So I think you'll really enjoy those few chapters where she's delving into this. And the third point that Christina brings up in her book, and it covers another couple of chapters, is about cultivating courage with kindness. This is right up our alley. I think it was in probably our second podcast when I was interviewing somebody and I was just listening to their entrepreneurial story. And I was just struck. I was like, are you ever scared? I mean, because you're telling me about all of these situations, which would put some people under their desk for months. And then you're telling me what you're doing. And I get this impression that you're never afraid. And she said something really poignant to me. She goes, are you kidding me? I'm petrified all the time. I just know that that doesn't serve me. And I have to act. I have to move. I have to move through the fear to be able to get what it is that I say that I want. And that to me is the definition of courage. It's the ability to move through fear, not the ability not to have fear. We all have fear. And so Christina tackles the same kind of a concept, this idea around fear, but also how you show up with it, how you handle it, and what you do with it to serve your greatest good. And in that way, how is it that we can truly be Flawesome, live authentically, have a good time doing it, and boost our happiness so that we are more successful in life? And that's why I think, really, I think if you're just starting out on this happiness journey, trying to figure it out, you know something's off, but you've been struggling with what it is, I think this is a great book to start with. It's a great starting point because it covers so much ground on this journey. What I will say, though, is to get the most of this, and even if you're experienced in this journey, like I was telling somebody, I was like, this would have been a book that I needed in 2013, in 2012. It really would have helped shortcut my journey a little bit, because I think I would have been able to pinpoint some things faster had I had it then. But even on this journey for myself for the last 10 years, it still was valuable because I still found nuggets, and I found some things that I'm still sitting with and I'm pondering and I'm considering, which means that there's still always room to grow. And so even if you're a little more, further down your journey and happiness and self-development, I'll say you're going to gain some things from this. It'll be an easy read. It does read very easily. It's very almost daily devotional style, to where you can pick it up, read this one segment and put it down and just move along once a day and probably be finished with it in the month. So I feel like it's a super easy read. But I do know there's one element of the book that I'm going to pull all the way forward. And I think the subchapter heading is "The World is Your Reflection." Reading this book, you may find places that piss you off, create a little anger, make you feel uncomfortable, give you conflict. I want to let you know that those areas might be your biggest doors to opportunity. And we talk about this a long time. When your inner critic starts chirping away, saying, they're not, that don't work, they're just thinking, all the stuff that they say, lean in a little bit more, pay attention to what you've just read, think about it. And Christina gives you 2 questions at the end of the book on this. And she talks about, what is it this is triggering in me and why? Hands down, that is worth the entire book all in itself, because it is your self-detection system that we take and usually have the moment of resistance and run the other way. But truly, the resistance is asking you to lean in. And so when you read this book, I want you to lean into those points of discomfort, some points of anger that might pop up for you, and find out what it is within yourself that perhaps you are passing judgment on, that is being reflected in somebody else's story. So that's it for now. Again, the book is Becoming Flawesome by Christina Mond-Lakiani. Definitely give it a recommended read. And I would love to hear back from you once you've read it. What nuggets are you chewing on? What were your points that you really would share with somebody else who was maybe just getting started on their happiness and success journey? So that's it for today, guys. I hope you're doing well. This has been Leslie Hassler with Your Biz Rules.